All right, the purpose of this video is to kind of show the advantage of the LiDAR that Larry and Justin typically get for us as we go to build our courses, and just kind of want to show how the first steps I do when I get LiDAR and how we get it to work. So this is going to assume you already have Unity 5.2.3, which is, there's already a video on how to do that on the Parallel website. It works great. Follow that, make sure you have the right version of Unity or it won't work. So the first step we do, and Larry suggested I start with it this way, doing the tutorial first. If you double click it, Unity pops up. You can go new project, and we're going to call this LiDAR tutorial, and hit create project in Unity. I want my LiDAR package. You could go assets, import, package, custom package, where I believe you can also just double click it. So I'm just going to double click it. So now it says it's importing it. You're going to get this pop up. So what is it bringing in? We have the Unity scene, the layout for the course. Larry provides the layout of the course. Very nice of him to do so. A README file that he gives you to explain what he's giving you. Light blue texture that helps with finding tears. Asset file, and then your overlays, where the magic kind of happens. So we're going to import all this into our project. You'll notice after you see this menu here, that means that you've successfully installed the tutorial. So if we look down here, this is our asset folder. It's in the other tutorial, but if you go to layout, wide, I think it's wide, this is the one that's typically used, and then you can see what you need to. Ironically, one of the users told me he had trouble using different views than that. So here's Larry's README file. You click it over here, it'll show you over here, so you can see what he gave you, the train file and different things. So let's start with the open up the scene file for this course, which is Los Angeles Country Club in LA. It's a course I haven't started yet. Hopefully me or Burner will work on this course at some point so that we can have this course done. But this, as you can see, it came in. And if you look at the elevation here that it picks up, it's getting all these different contours of the land. If we get over to the course, this course is interesting because there's a north and south. And if you dig into the LiDAR on the south course, which is not the course that's most people want to play the north course. That's the one the open's going to be at. But if you look here, it looks like there should be a bunker over here, and there's other stuff, and it looks like the LiDAR's messed up. Well, actually, they redid that course, so this LiDAR is older than when they redid the course, so that's why it looks like there should be a bunker here, and there's not. So what we're going to do is go over to the north course, and let me put it back on shaded. And as you can see, here's our course. And if you look here, you can get down close. Let's look in here. You can see some of the bunkers got elevation here. Imagine when you build a course, normally in most course design software, you're having to recreate all this terrain, all the slopes, all of that. LiDAR does all that for you. It's kind of the magical portion of it. And we have a actual accurate distance measurement for everything, because the Google map here is tied to the LiDAR, so the distance from the green to the pin is accurate here. So when you go to the game, whatever the distance is will be correct. So I'm going to look for hole number 1. Let me see if I can find the layout. So if I go to north layout, here's the clubhouse. Number 1 goes right here along the street. So it's the second one up here. So you come down from the clubhouse. So let's just build that hole. So let's see. I think it's the one we're on now. Let's verify. Okay. Yep. All right. Now to get a course to work, so this isn't a tutorial so much on on how to use CourseForge. This is more just on how LiDAR works and the first steps I do when I get a course on doing this. So I'm going to do to start with is going to build, in order to compile a course, you need to have an out of bounds defined. This is not going to be an accurate out of bounds. I just want my course to compile because I'm going to do one hole right now. So I'm drawing this OB boundary around here. It's not intended to be accurate. It's just intended to show you how this is going to work. Did I lose it? Oh, it's hidden right now. There we go. There's our OB boundary. You can only have one OB boundary or your course will not compile. At first, that seems like a huge limitation, but what I found is like you could snake OB all. Let's say, for example, this little strip here is OB. It's not, but let's pretend like it was. You could have the OB come all the way in here and snake back. You can almost always snake the OB to cover every area you need for a course. So I thought that was not very good in the beginning, but it actually is just fine. So let's take a look here. I've actually gotten a chance to play this course once in real life, and the tee box isn't really defined that well on the actual course. It's pretty wide open, kind of blends in with the fairway a bit, but we're going to just define a tee box over here. And this is not saying where the tees are at. This is just building it out. We're just going to make it like that. I'm not trying to make this perfect. And we're just going to say this is our teeing area. I'm going to build it, select it. I'm going to build it. So then you'll notice that it shades in. So that's now a tee. Let's go ahead and just for fun, I'll throw in a bunker here real quick. Go bunker, and I'm just going to draw this little bunker here. And so there's a bunker. You can see it's kind of shaded in now. There's our bunker. This looks like a nasty looking bunker, but we'll go ahead and do that one too, just so we could have this first hole kind of complete, so that you could see how it works with the LiDAR. I screwed that one up. All right. And I like to build one hole, verify that I can get the course to compile, verify it works in perfect golf. And I'm doing a terrible job on this bunker. Let's just do the freehand. I don't like doing freehand. I prefer to usually do the dot method because I feel like the dot method's more accurate for me. And then I'm not doing a very good job here. We're just going to get this done somewhat close. I'm not doing this to be perfect. There we go. Let's do the other bunker, and I'm just going to draw that one as well. And we're not trying to get this. I'm not going to keep this project. So there we go. If I don't select anything, I can build them all. So this will build all 3 splines. Splines are what you define. So when the ball lands in that bunker, it'll behave like a fairway bunker. Let's get up here. We're going to add in, I picked a lot of bunkers, but might as well just do this just so you can see how it comes through. Now, bunkers are one area you usually have to do a little bit of massaging later, even though the LiDAR is good and it's there. Unless it's really high resolution LiDAR, which I don't know what this course is. I haven't looked at it really yet. You usually are going to need to kind of clean up your bunkers a little bit so they play well. If you're just doing it for your own personal use, you probably won't be pretty excited how it comes out without changing them. But if you're getting it tested by OGT, and users are going to want, if a ball hits near a bunker, that it behaves how it should. There's no weird jaggies created by some of that. So let's go with our green. We're going to add in our green. And there we go. Again, I'm going through this pretty quick. I'm not trying to be super accurate. So let's take a look here now. All right. So now I'm going to build a fairway. This is a huge fairway for this one, so I might actually snake it around everything. In order to have the fairway run all the way up to the green. So if it runs all the way up to the green, you're going to want to basically have your fairway loop around the green. If you can see how I did it, Intuitively, you may not think that makes sense at first. After you look at courses and look at in real life and see the fringe going around the green and how it looks, you'll realize that's kind of how real courses are too. So I'm just going to run this around to get the fairway here. I'll cut across here, even though you could see that's not exactly what it does. And I'm not trying to be ultra accurate here, but as you can see, it'll be pretty playable from what I get. I can't tell if this fairway goes around it or not. I'm going to go around this part here. So there's the fairway. We'll compile that. So if I select, you could drag these dots around if you see them. Let's see, I think I got this one a little close to this bunker. So this is where you can go in and fine tune it later. So you'd say, I want it a little bit further out. And then if it's the fairway selected there, when you build the spline, there it goes. And now we have a fairway spline. So let's add the rough. I'm going to add rough just so you could get a feel for the whole, how you build one out. You could add in, as you can see, you could add fairway fringe, green fringe. You could add all of that, but I just want to add a rough. And we're going to throw this thing out there pretty far. I'm just trying to get this in. I'm even going to screw up and go over that green in that area there. And we'll pull this in tight there. Let's have it come around. And I'll just have it come up this way. Again, I'm more wanting to show you how this is done and how good of a course we can get pretty quickly. Now, I should say the designers building OGT courses, they spend tons of time in getting their course right. Okay, so now we have what looks like a hole. As soon as this rough's done, we got our rough, we got our fairway. I'm not going to add trees right now. I guess I could. I'll throw a couple trees down just for fun. Just so you could have something that looks a little bit more like a hole. And give you something you can kind of follow when you're building your first hole. Although the tutorials on the Perfect Golf web forum, Perfect Parallel forums, Mike Jones did some great tutorials on that. So this is more for the new beginner that just got LiDAR and doesn't know what to do, because the tutorials he has is kind of starting from scratch, not with the LiDAR file. So let's just let me show you a couple things too. Let's say that all of a sudden I said, oh, I built this rough, now I can't see where those trees were on the map. I could hide it, so now I can see the trees. So let's add in some trees for fun. So if we go to here, there's a tree planting tool. I think it comes with only a handful of trees. You're gonna want to add. You could buy any speed trees from the speed tree store. You'd be surprised how expensive some trees can get. So there's a tree. Let's make these higher. There's a tree. There's a tree. There's a tree. And when I built my course at South Hills, my local one, I actually measured all these trees in Google Earth. And so the trees on the course are the same size as they are when you actually play the course in real life, because the trees matter. If you're trying to get over a tree or in a tree, kind of does it. So let's just, and we'll add a few along here. There we go. And let's throw in whatever the heck this tree is along this way. All right, and since we're already here, I'll show you. You could paint, so the areas that aren't defined by spline, you could add in some textures. You can get additional textures if you want. Let me just shrink this down. So let's say I paint along this cart path there. You can see that's that texture there. So you could paint anything that's not a mesh. You cannot paint the mesh. I've hidden the meshes, so if I bring the mesh back, you can see there's the mesh, there's the area I painted right there. So as you can see, we're getting something that looks pretty good so far. So now, in order for our course to compile, see this? These are areas you have to smooth. It's where the mesh has tears, but that's not really what I'm trying to go over right now. Actually, I don't like how that bunker looks, so I might drag these up. Something looks... Yeah, this bunker was a particularly evil looking bunker. It might be, and so the meshes, if there's too much elevation change, they kind of tear a little bit and look a little funky. I'll go ahead and, you know, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to clean up those meshes. And so what you end up doing, I'll do it just because I'm already here. Why not, right? So this is a smoothing height tool. So I like it down a little bit lower to start with, and then you just this just smooths out the elevation change until the mesh no longer tears and you don't see what's underneath it. That one's going to involve a little more smoothing, it looks like. And maybe just a touch more. That one's pretty bad. And sometimes you need to do a little bit more work on that, but we're just going to try to get these as best we can. So that's just smoothing it out a little bit. It makes minor changes to the elevation data to get it so that it doesn't tear. And hopefully, the other thing about it is once you do that, you do need to rebuild your mesh. So rebuild our fairway. It'll rebuild everything inside it, I believe. And it's going right now. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in an easy, medium, and hard pin. So we need OB, we need 3 pins, easy, medium, and hard, and then we need our T. So we're going to do that today and compile it and be done with it so you can see kind of how that works. All right, so here is our flag. We're going to add a pin. We're going to go easy. Now here's something the aim point guys might get a little excited about. You put it on. Ooh, look at what does that number mean? That's the break. So this is so you can see that it's got different breaks. Now what you don't want to do, you don't want to put a pin on a 3% thing. So you want to try to find something that's relatively flat. Easy pin, the guideline is you want something that's easy to hit. So the bunker on the left, there's not much trouble on the right. So probably right here would be a good spot that you'd want to put an easy pin towards the middle of the green, give you a place to miss left and right. Here's a nice 0. If we go around it, it's like 1. That means that pin's not going to get too nasty to putt near. So you don't want to have, you want a ball to be able to stop near the hole. Just, I mean, that's just like real golf, right? We don't want to have, I'm thinking I'll put the hard pin back there. We'll put the medium pin over here. I don't like it over there. I don't like it there. This looks like a decent spot right there. That'll be a little bit of a hill. Not bad. 1% is not bad. And then difficult, we're going to toss this sucker in the back. And generally the guidelines, if you're to follow the OGT guidelines for building a course where they do where there's a lot of beta testing, they want you to put your easy pins in the middle of the greens, medium, a little bit easier accessible from an approach shot, and difficult, the most difficult to get to. Not how hard the putt is. So it's interesting because when building the course, I know well what I think is an easy pin location might not fit those guidelines. So the other thing is I'm guessing that those bunkers are there for approach shot. So we're just gonna I'll do the proper way so you can see how to do it. We're gonna measure it out. So there should be a measuring tool in here. So let's go here and measure out. They want them around 250, I think, is what the shot point should be. So if we look at it, there's 250. I've measured it out. This is a shot point. So in the game, this will kind of auto aim you there. So you're going to see it on the map in the game. So this will say where you should be aiming for. So now we have our easy, medium, and difficult pins. We've got our shot point. And lastly, we just need to add in some tees. And I'm going to throw in multiple tees here just for fun. We're going to do the first hole. So championship tee box, par 4, stroke 1. I have no idea what the stroke index is. I would normally look that up, and then you'd put it on there. So we're going to say the championship tees are there. We're going to add in a back tee, or let's do tournament tee a little bit further up. And then member tee I'll put here, although it would probably be further up and bigger difference. Oops, tournament got moved over there. So let's move that back. So as you see the stroke index, you set that. So the game will use that. It'll use the stroke index. It'll use the whole number. So you're going to want all of that. So now I believe we have almost everything we need to compile our course and have it ready for perfect golf. So, and we'll be able to have one playable hole. So let's work on that. So if we hit here, go to the settings, we're going to name the author. And, and then course name, LACC. Let's just call it Lidar Tutorial. Why not? There we go. That's our name of our course, Lidar Tutorial. We're going to save the scene file. The scene file is this file right here. And then we're also going to back up the terrain. I should have done this to begin with. All right, so the terrain file is there's some things stored in the terrain file, some things are stored in the scene file. Terrain file is where you hit backup terrain here. The scene file is here. You can save multiple versions of it. That I would recommend doing that. Actually, I'm going to save mine because then it's going to name the file created related to that. So let's just call it Lidar Tutorial. Let's do it all lowercase. Lidar Tutorial. You can't have any special characters in your file name or Perfect Golf won't like it. That's another thing that to be aware of. All right. I think we're ready to build. So we hit this. It's going to give us warnings. We don't have things set on 2 to 18 holes. We know that. We don't have a course image. We don't have flybys. But we have what we need to get the course to work. So it's going to compile right now. Okay. I wasn't paying attention. I was looking away. So it's done. Here's our error message. I sometimes get these. I don't know what they do. They don't seem to affect the game and the way it plays. So I haven't worried about it too much. So now what we're going to do is, so it created this one here, Lidar Tutorial. Copy. I have a shortcut to courses here. Paste it. So now our course is in Perfect Golf. So let me fire up Perfect Golf. There we go. Hey, and here is our course. So first thing I would recognize if I was building this course is that I need to level this tee box a little bit, or I put it in the wrong spot. My guess is this is not the correct spot for a tee box because it's tilted like that. Let's go check out up here. Is this level? Oh, that looks like where it should be. All right, so I probably put a tee box in the wrong spot. So I'm just going to show a few things. So if you look, you can see I'm going to press F5, and we could fly around the course. We could look around. As you can see, all the elevations came over. So there's mountains over there, hills, valleys. And if we fly up, we can see here's our trees we planted. Here's the bunkers. As I see these little tears, that's something we smooth out. There's the bunkers. There, as you could tell, look, it's pretty decent. We didn't dig these out. We didn't do anything. They came through pretty decent. This one's got kind of some funky stuff going on. We just gotta get the LiDAR matched up to it. But as you can see, it's not perfect, but considering how much time we spent and I showed you hey, here's your first crack at LiDAR, it's pretty good. Come over here, there's a bunker. Come over this one, there's a bunker. And if we look, it slopes away past the hole. All those slopes are there. And there should be there's actually a bridge coming down. You can go check out the rest of the course, even though we aren't doing it. I played this. This has got some nasty bunkers there. This is actually a hidden par 3. It's tiny at LA Country Club. The members told me something about it, that they play it every once in a while. This green is just tiny and hard to actually get to. I mean, I can't imagine playing it. It looks like it'd be real tough, but a lot of fun for, a tournament or something. But we can go around. You can see all the different contours the LiDAR picks up. Imagine having to, you're just not, it'd be very tough to build all this detail by hand. And you can just see, like, how good it comes across with the LiDAR. And, the sloped fairways, just all the different things that, you can see how the bunkers are. Look at those big bunkers. And they're captured. So if you've ever played this course, I haven't done anything to this. Look at how it kind of came through. I think it's to me, I call it LiDAR magic, but It really helps you build a accurate, fun course so that when you go play it, it's good. I mean, there's the bridge crossing over. You can see it, from the Google image. And eventually you'd end up drawing your splines and fairways over everything so it looks right. But so let's get back to our golfer just for fun. So let's hit F5. Let's aim out where we want to. Now let's check out our mini map. Hey, there's our shot point right there. It's at 278 from where I dropped the ball just now. We're just going to hit the ball. So there we go. This might be a par 5. It's 500 yards. I just hit it 289. It is downhill. I don't know if it's a par 5. I can't remember. I should have checked. But 220 out. We could actually, here's another cool thing. We could drop the ball anywhere we want. We want to practice being stuck behind a tree. There you go. This little stick shows you the break line indicator. I think it's pretty cool. So not as useful here as it is on the greens. This is the thing that lets you jump around wherever you want. So you could practice wherever you want. Let's say we want to practice a bunker shot. Let's jump in the bunker. So then let's hit a bunker shot. Not a bad bunker shot there. We could hit this. We could say, show me all the pins. So if you wanted to see where all your pins are to look at them, we could get on the green and move the ball on the green. So there's pin 2. Where's pin 1? I may have to hit it again. I think I have to hit it again. Let's see. There's our pins. As you can see, 2, 1, 0. You could check them out here. See how you can look here if you see anything along. You don't want to put a pin like on this slope. You can see it's longer. You can see this is a break. See the little shadow? That tells you the break on the putt in addition to the grid. So if we look here, this should break a little bit to the left. Let's switch it to a putter and see what happens. I play on the sim 90% of the time, so don't expect much from this putt. So it should break a little left, and there it is. That's pretty much all I wanted to show. Hope that's helpful. As you can see, there's the trees we planted. We got bunkers, we got greens, we got all that stuff. The stuff with the bunkers let me just take a look. So the stuff we would do is we'd smooth out some of these jagged spots here because that's probably not how it is. So you don't want a ball hitting and bouncing a funny direction. But on the whole, to be honest, I'm pretty happy with how these bunkers came. You don't need to do a whole lot to these bunkers. The Lidar's pretty good. So that's the tutorial. Hope that everyone found that useful.